Hello, everybody, and welcome back to In the Trenches. This is Ian Beckles coming at you, and this is probably my last one before the regular season. Regular season is a couple weeks away. The Bucs don't have a preseason game coming up this week. They're gonna get rested, hopefully get things right, and get ready for the first game that actually really matters. So, if you've been listening to my In the Trenches podcast, it's been around for a long time. What I'm not going to do is sit here and evaluate preseason play. I don't want to, nor should anybody. And this is everybody, okay? I think the Ravens won 20-something straight preseason games. Do they have any championships in that time? Listen, I think the Dallas Cowboys, there's a time in the 90s, they didn't win one. They didn't win a preseason game 5 straight years, and they were winning championships at the time. The results mean nothing. And can I be honest with you? Very little means anything in preseason. I was talking to Tony Mayberry, a former lineman of my that I played with for 7 years here in Tampa, center, Pro Bowler, and I said, "Well, what do you get out of preseason when you're watching it?" He goes, "Just individual plays and individual matchups. That's it." So but I'm just telling everybody, you can't evaluate a quarterback in the preseason. You can't do it. You have to evaluate a quarterback in training camp in those practices. Preseason, the other team is not preparing for you. They're not game planning against you. They're not going after your shortcomings. So in a couple weeks when the Buccaneers play Minnesota, it ain't going to be nothing like preseason. Now, do you want to look better in preseason? Of course you do, okay? Of course you do. So for me to sit here and tell you I think the Bucs are anything is me talking out of my ass. And listen, listen to a lot of sports talk radio, a lot of people, I like what I saw, it's just talk. You gotta say something, okay? A lot of them have 3-4 hours to fill. I don't fill time, all right? I have a podcast, I ain't gonna waste my damn time, I don't wanna waste your time either. I saw some great things. Tristan Wirfs at left tackle looks like he's been there, forever. The only thing that worries me about Tristan Wirfs is I can't think of another left tackle that looks like that. And I don't know if that's scary or good. But usually when somebody says, what about this? I'll compare it to another athlete. I can't think of any other left tackle that looks like Tristan Wirfs. And he's the prototypical right tackle. But I'll be honest with you, I just think Tristan Wirfs can play wherever he wants. I just think he's that good of a football player. That's wonderful. Everybody keeps on talking about Mike Evans, okay? And listen, as far as Mike Evans is a football player, I don't know if there's anybody in the Tampa Bay area that respects him more than me, okay? As a football player, as a competitor, as somebody that plays through injury, just a baller. But you have to understand that Mike Evans is on his last legs. And if he gets 1,000 yards in 17 games, he's going to struggle to get 1,000 yards. That's the way it is. Chris Godwin's our number one guy, okay? This offense, passing-wise, is going to have to go through Chris Godwin. If Mike Evans is the number one guy, I think we're going to be in trouble. So let's hope that Chris Godwin is back to where Chris Godwin was a couple of years ago, and he looks good to this point. Now, I see some good things from Tompkins. I see some spurts here and there. JTS made a couple flash plays. Now, once again, I ain't going to get off him, okay? Because those splash plays that you see sometimes are just that. Like when you make a play on a stunt, that's not football for me. That's not for me. You have to run through people at his position to play football eventually. When you come off a stunt, you make a big play, you can celebrate and everything like that, but that's not the gift that keeps on giving. It's not it. And I've yet to see Joe Tryon-Shoyinka do anything that keeps on giving. You see some of these other young players come in, first snap, you see something, you're like, Jesus, first snap. And we're years into this now, we're still looking to see what we have with JTS. So, listen, I'm not going to come off of him. I hope at the end of this year I was wrong about JTS. I don't think I'm going to do it, though. I really don't. I just don't think he had any dog in him. And if he was in the room with me, I'd look at him, I'd go, you ain't got no dog in you. Period. And I would hope that would piss him off if he want to fight me, but I don't think it would. Say it to a dog and see what would happen. Maybe that's the difference. So listen, I'm challenging you. JTS, see what you got. You go at him with it. I hope you do. Russell Gage is a huge loss, man. That's a number 3 guy. That's going to be a huge loss. And with this team is going to be, and I'm going to break down Baker Mayfield in a second here. When I break down Baker Mayfield, I like to break down players for what they are and not what we hope they are. That's what everybody does. How the Buccaneers going to be? Well, if the offensive line comes together, and if Kate Otton's better, and if Mike Evans has a year, and if what is it? What is it? Because a bunch of stuff could happen, but it usually doesn't. Some things improve, some things go down. That's the way life works. You can't get better at everything. The Bucs have to get better at a lot of stuff, people. They really do. And were you a Baker Mayfield fan last year at this time? That's what I'm asking you. Were you a Baker Mayfield fan at this time last year? If you say yes, God bless you. Well, you got what you deserved. I was predicting he'd be out of the league. Now, that being said, it had nothing to do with his ability. I think he has the ability to be a quarterback, a good backup quarterback. Can you win with Baker Mayfield? 100%. 100%. But you got to have pieces. You got to have pieces all around Baker Mayfield. It's football season. It's time to take advantage of some of the gambling out there. You might as well do it legally. Football season's back. Time to start the winning season at MyBookie. NFL, college football, and a brand new cash-out system gives you the option to bet and win all season long. Say the first 2 legs of your parlay hit. Cash out early and use the funds on another bet, or let it ride in the chance to win a big payday maybe later on. Use early cash outs as a tool to stay in control of the action at MyBookie. Okay, this is how you get it done. Once again, this is all legal betting. To get started, go to mybookie.ag now and register for an account free. When you're ready, make your first deposit. Just use promo code INTHETRENCHES to grab a welcome bonus on the house from us. That's promo code INTHETRENCHES to claim your deposit, and for a limited time, a free chip that you could use in MyBookie Casino. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. We keep on talking. If you're a Buccaneer fan, and I've been a Buccaneer fan since 1990, if you're a Buccaneer fan, how many years are you going to hear that we're going to start to run the football? We're a running team. We're going to help Baker by being where is it? Where was it? In order to be a running team, and once again, if this comes across negative, tough. In order to be a running team, don't you have to run the football and create a mentality? If you're going to be a running team, then run it in preseason. Keep running that son of a bitch. Don't stop. You got some starting linemen against some third-string guys, and I'm supposed to be happy that it gets some. Come on now. Come on. That's not the way life works, okay? So there's a lot that needs to happen for this team to win with Baker Mayfield, and that's just one side of the ball. The other side of the ball has to be freaking dominant. Our defense has to be freaking dominant because I just don't think the way that Baker Mayfield winning a game is going to be conducive to big scores. I don't think. If you think Baker Mayfield is going to score 35 points, the ball's going to go the other way a couple times. It's the Jameis Winston type of thing. You want Baker Mayfield to throw the ball 25 times and run the football, play defense, old school Buccaneer football. It can happen. But do our coaches have that mentality? This is not Tony Dungy coaching. If it was Tony Dungy coaching, I feel better. But it's not. Todd Bowles and Canales, what's Canales going to do when it's 3rd and 1 and you need to get that yard? What's he falling back on? That's all recollection and been there, done that. So there's a lot of new things. Now, Baker Mayfield. I don't think I was ever a fan of Baker Mayfield, okay? Although, if you look at his numbers aren't terrible. They really aren't. I mean, his numbers, I'm just going to be honest now, there's some guys in the Hall of Fame that don't have numbers as good. Now, that's changing now. We have to understand that. Baker Mayfield, his completion percentage, his career, 61%. That's not terrible. It's not great these days, okay? 102 touchdowns and 64 interceptions. Pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. There's Hall of Famers that don't have that touchdown-interception ratio. Terry Bradshaw, I know, is pretty close to 50-50, I believe. Passing yards, 17,000 almost. 86 passer ratings, not terrible. Now, If you go down to what have you done for me lately, all right? 2022, if you look at Baker Mayfield, a lot of those great numbers were done 3, 4, 5 years ago. 2022, 10 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. And it wasn't pretty. We know that. 2021, 17 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. It's not winning football, right? 2020, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. That's winning football, okay? 2020 is a long time ago. There's things that I can't do now that I could do in 2020, okay? So don't expect that Baker Mayfield. That Baker Mayfield I don't know exists anymore, all right? Or else somebody would have gobbled him up. We took Baker Mayfield off the scrap heap. So to think that Baker Mayfield is going to save the day, he won't save the day. And that's the thing. I keep on hearing people, you don't have faith in Baker? It's not about Baker. It's about your football team. Did the Buccaneers win a Super Bowl because of Brad Johnson? And I had the utmost respect for Brad Johnson as a person, football player, competitor, the whole 9 yards. But that wasn't built around Brad Johnson. It was built around running games. It was built around defenses coming after you. It was built around play calling in John Gruden's mind. And before he tainted the minds of all those people there, before they knew who he was. So there's a lot of different factors in being a good football team. And this is a football team that can win between 5 and 7 games. I think the ceiling is 7. I think the floor is 5. I think we're good enough to say we're going to win 5 games. I don't know if we could say we're going to win 8 games. I don't see it. I don't see it. That's what happens, people. It's not negative talk. You win a Super Bowl. We were saying this 2 years ago. Wait till it hits the fan. It's going to hit the fan. And a salary cap. And blah. Now it's here. So it's here. We got to do the best of what we got. And if we hover around 500, I tell you what, Todd Bowles should be applauded if we hover around 500 this year. Unfortunately, I don't see it. I hope I'm wrong. And I'll sit here and I'll tell you I'm wrong. Now, my football talk is expanding. We obviously have this in the trenches. We're talking to the Vinnick people about doing something with Derek Brooks. So hopefully that happens here pretty soon. And also I'm going to be on The Bone coming up just before the first game on Saturday, 102.5 The Bone on the football show, so make sure you tune in on Saturdays from noon to 2. So a lot of football talk coming up. Anybody wants to hit me up, I'm always there on Instagram, Ian_Beckles. But I appreciate you guys and gals listening into In the Trenches every single week. Have a wonderful week, and let's hope the Bucs get this shit right. Peace out.